You are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juan.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leek.
And together we are
Rope
Roping, and it's time for AEW Dynamite. Jean-Paul is like really upset right now. He's about to lose it. Like his energy is like he absolutely said to me. He came clean. He said, "This is the worst company. This is the worst wrestling company. I'd rather watch Ring of Honor. I'd rather watch."
He
like,
might have been texting a different Jean-Paul. I don't know how
I'd
big
rather watch
his
AAA in complete Spanish, even though I don't understand a single word. But like, we have a great show for you guys tonight. So thank you so very much for watching. Thank you so very much for all the comments. We have great content. Thank you to every single one of you. So Jean-Paul, AEW Dynamite, your thoughts on all of this?
I think the roster's good. The roster, I mean, they have some guys. Some people might like them, some people might hate them. But the roster that they have, you can produce a lot better shows than they're producing. The tag team division is supposed to be the best in the world, but it's all over the place. 1 week we have #1 contenders, then the next week they're not the #1 contenders, then they're the #1 contenders 2 months from now, and then now the #1 contendership is on the line, and it's just, I feel like they have a magic 8-ball and they shake and they're like, "What's up for the tag team division tonight?" They're like, "Oh, okay." The way you should really book it is you should say, "What's our next pay-per-view?" in like a month or 2 months from now. You book that match, and then you are where you're now, and then you build it towards that.
That's true.
Instead of doing it week by week. It feels like
the main problem here is like they're bringing a lot of people in and don't really know what to do with them.
Exactly.
And the ones that like we're kind of like building, they have to like be delayed, or you're gonna push them down because like the new ones have more name value than the ones that you're pushing.
Exactly.
So, talking about that, Jean-Paul, AEW Dynamite, like they always opened up something hot. We have an AEW Tag Team Championship match. Kenny Omega, your boy, Adam Hanman Page, cowboy shit against the Natural Nightmares, QT Marshall, and also Dustin Rhodes with Brandy. This match, pretty decent, for what they do usually give us. We knew that they were not going to lose those titles. So, like you said, we know why are they having a championship match.
I would have just had this been a non-title match. You still could have got the story over with Ali. Like, to having the belts on the line just made, people who actually pay attention to it, like, it was like, why does this team get in this opportunity? You know what I mean? You're like, they don't deserve it. You kind of just scratching your head. Me, it made me like a little bit like, these guys don't deserve it. And also QT Marshall, not saying he's an awful wrestler or anything, but like, why does it? Can't he have his own finisher? Why does he have to be like, oh, yeah, you're gifted the diamond cutter? Like, oh, okay. Like a dude who eats apples and was pretty much a job guy, and then now he's just, oh, yeah, here's the diamond cutter.
And he gets the diamond cutter. So, like, you see that, like, maybe they have different type of politics than what WWE will have. But like you said, I think this match, like, to put the title on the line was completely unnecessary. But I mean, your match quality, of course, Adam Hanman Page is good. Kenny Omega is really great. Dustin is good. And QT Marshall is not a bad wrestler.
No, like I said, it's good, but it's just, they gave it too much fanfare.
Like name value, he hasn't climbed the stairs. He's not believable enough for me to say, okay, he actually can use the diamond cutter. So, yeah, for me, it's like a whole story.
If anything, I would have had DDP. You should have kind of redid this guy, had DDP manage him.
Yes, and then maybe, hey, I'm
since they love managers, since everybody has a manager in AEW.
I mean, I kind of like that a little bit because like it incorporates other people, but and in the end, I don't know if some of them do the job of a manager. They don't even cut promos or anything. Like Brandy's there on the outside and doesn't do anything. But for this match, like I said, it was something good. And then towards the end of the match, then Ali came out kind of like to check out because she was banned. Like Dustin said, you're not allowed to be here with us. Regardless of that, she still came. And then, of course, Adam Hanman Page power bombs Marshall and Kenny, hits a knee to the back, and then over the head, but he kicks out. Kenny and Page hit the last call. I really like that finisher because Kenny this time, he did hit the big trigger into kind of the back of the neck. And, they retained the titles. Jean-Paul, did you think otherwise? I don't think so.
No.
So, Jean-Paul, like this is like, okay, well, the tag champions are still the same. So later on in the night, we're going to find out if like the #1 contender is going to still be the same. So like you said, it's like it makes it more difficult to keep building a feud if you don't even know who your contenders or like who the participants in the match are going to be.
Exactly.
So Jean-Paul, we go to, like you said, is actually enjoy the ice time. And that was like Anna Jay. And then she goes against like the girlfriend of Finn Balor, the Demon. Abadon, right?
Yeah, I think that's how you say it. Yeah, and it's like, okay, again, like I like Sarah J, and it's like this is cool. They do a little, little promo package for okay, I want to be the star of the show. I want to entertain all this stuff. Okay, legit. You send her out there against a local talent, a job guy. Boom, 2-minute match. 1, 2, 3. Anna Jay looks legit. Okay, next match. Nope. They just all of a sudden throw out this new heel who they're trying to get over. Boom, Anna Jay loses very quickly with some kind of like, it was like a very
Hurricanrana.
Yeah, it was like a Hurricane Rana, but Anna was on her knees, so it was like a very short, like high impact Hurricane Rana. And then it's like 1, 2, 3, and I'm like, that's fine, but then don't promote Anna Jay as being like this legit.
You give me a legit
face and then kill her.
And then done.
But that's the trend. I mean, you look at everybody else who we talk about, Lance Archer,
also,
Brody Lee, Jeff Cobb. It's the same for all these guys.
News in the AEW world, like Abadon, she was also hired. She's a new member of the roster in AEW. She had an AEW dark match with Hikaru Shida. So, like, the girl, hey, congratulations. It's a good company. Hey, sometimes the booking decisions, sometimes we don't agree with. But you know what? It's a good time. It's a good place to be.
And like I said, the way she looks, and it's like she will be a good heel to build up against Shida.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then like you said, for example, like, Anna Jay has a lot of potential. We'll see what happens with her, you know. So, Jean Paul, let's move on to Badass Billy Gunn, although he's not allowed to use Badass Billy Gunn, so it will be Billy, and then / Gunn. He goes against MJF and Wardlow. So, like, it was a good match. I really like it. Billy still, till this day, is a great wrestler.
Billy's legit. Billy. You look at this dude. I mean, he's jacked. First of all, he's huge. I say it every time. I forget how tall he is. But
he's really tall.
He's tall. He's probably like 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
So he's huge. He's jacked still. He can still go. Like, I say the same thing about Dustin. I'll say about Billy, or I call him Billy Gunn. Fuck it. He can hit all. He can hit all his moves. He's not out there looking like a fool, like a stooge, like he hits all his moves. They still have the impact. They still look legit. Like I said, I thought he likes ass. Apparently, it's something else because he has 1,000 kids. So they all came out with him, and it was a good match. But MJF had to win, so it was one of those things where it's like, okay, Billy. Like, thanks for coming.
Of course, like you said, like Billy's now in the time to, like, he has to put over guys, and no other guy that is better than MJF right now, because it's like, for example, I don't even think that they know what they're doing with him. I know he's just
no. I would have almost rather seen MJF go after one of his kids, and just have it been a bullshit match, and then have Billy Gunn and Wardlow duke it out, because that would be more entertaining. Two big guys just throwing haymakers
also, like, you
at
can
each
help
other.
Wardlow get over, because Wardlow, like you said, he had only one victory, and that was it. And then the loss that he had with Cody inside the steel cage. So why don't you try to, like, give these guys a little bit more momentum rather than use Billy with MJF? And we know that MJF is going to win. But after that, there was like a big brawl. Like a lot of tag teams, like the Private Party jump in, the Jurassic Express. Everybody was there, so there was like a big thing. Like kind of, I don't know why they're trying to do that, but like the feud with Jungle Boy, I think they're trying to.
Yeah, well, it's like we say, they don't. And it's I'm not going to point fingers or whatever. It's a lot of people's fault. I probably don't have as many fingers to do enough pointing, but they don't know how to book the show in the sense that it's like they think of that an idea is good. They go with it for 2 weeks, and then they're like, oh no, but maybe we should do this. And then sometimes you got to play out the angle before you can start a new one. And I feel like they just throw it all together.
Yes, that's a big problem. That's a big problem because you don't really know the direction where it's going.
Yeah, exactly.
So like that's the one thing
I would
like to just be more like
organized. I hate to compare it to this, but it reminds me like WCW Dying Days, where it's just like every match ends in a run-in, or it's like nothing is just, can we just get a clean finish and move on? Somebody's got to run out, or what we saw in the main event. Oh, the cameraman is disguised, which I actually thought was cool, but it's like no match can just end clean. There's always got to be a run-in or something screwy.
Exactly, Mr. Leek. But like we go to like Lesek's guys, they had a backstage interview. Nothing really of importance. They're just pretty much saying that they're going to destroy Orange Cassidy. And that's the feud that Le Champion is trying to like go now. Like I think like you said, he's warming up the seat for like Mike Tyson. He's just like Orange Cassidy.
Are they? I wouldn't even be surprised if Tyson was like, "Yo, like legit, I'm in an actual fight. I gotta get ready for, so we cancel this."
Oh yeah, so like,
it's been a couple weeks.
You keep going.
Yeah, because it's been a couple weeks since we heard anything from Tyson, like 2-3 weeks, and it's like
I feel of course, like is this always happens when you get a celebrity. You just like they cannot be there show by show. The only one that I've seen that like really did that was Ronda Rousey, but Ronda Rousey was under contract and she was the whole year. But at least she gave us like the continuation. So Jean Paul, let's go to like Tony Giovanni. He's interviewing Britt Baker, and she's talking about, hey, all the situation that with her injury, and the big thing that I really love this part because Big Swole is there, and she's the one actually like driving.
Yeah, it reminded me. Wasn't that the Undertaker when he's like in the car and he
buckle up, Teddy. Buckle up, Teddy, and she goes, "Where to, doctor?" So she takes him. He's like, "Oh my god!" And then she goes. So that's funny. Like you see, Britt Baker is actually, despite being injured, we don't really know the severity of the injury, but like, despite that, she's still current. They still use her because they know there's a lot of name value in her.
Oh yeah, and she's one of the things where she can keep getting heel heat and keep herself relevant while she's injured. So then when she comes back, you can place her right. Maybe not in the title picture, but maybe in a match to be a number one contender.
Exactly, and then that's what like she's gonna be. She's gonna be probably when she comes back from the injury, she's probably gonna end up getting the championship for Hikaru Shida. I can really see
definitely
because of like the momentum that she has. So Jean Paul, that was really cool. So now we go to like, you give it all away, I'll take it all away. We go to see Cody. He's about to defend the championship. I already told Jean Paul, the sources in the Robrick family we already knew that like Ricky Starks was gonna be debuting. Like, and the one thing I really appreciate, Jean Paul, is that like he said, I'm a former NWA TV champion. So
that's the one thing I love with
companies.
Oh yeah, that's the one thing I love about AEW is that they acknowledge other companies. Of course, they don't acknowledge WWE, but everybody else, New Japan, TNA, Ring of Honor, whoever, they'll acknowledge them.
Yes,
it's just so that's cool. Ricky Starks said he's the hottest free agent. I don't know about that. A lot of people that come from WWE with more name value and marketability than Ricky Starks. He's a hell of a wrestler, and this was a pretty good match. I would have rather seen this match go a little longer to kind of get him more over, because NWA Power has a lot of audience, but this is probably his first real mainstream exposure.
Yes.
So I would have rather had this match be a little longer, had the main event be a little shorter. Even the opening match could have been a little shorter as well. But I mean, it was
because the first time is the debut of this guy, and unfortunately, he debuted like losing.
And that's the one thing, he lost, and you might think, oh, he lost in his debut, but this I don't mind because he was a free agent, and also you're trying to get this belt over. It's like a brand new belt, and it's the champion, and that's how you do it. And I mean, I would rather have seen Cody show up on NWA and defend the belt there. I think that would have made it more legit.
But I think the NWA, they're not recording yet. Like you said, also like there's a new wave, and so please everybody stay safe. There's a new wave of coronavirus. WWE had to cancel a few tapings. Yeah, and everybody's just supposedly is a hot mess in WWE. But we don't talk WWE here. We talk about
that'll be tomorrow.
That will be tomorrow when we do NXT. But like you said, like maybe a little bit more time, it would have been a lot better for this guy. But like Jean Paul said, great wrestler, and I think that like a lot of future though. If he calls himself a hottest free agent, it's because of his age, at least. Because he's really young, and he has all the. We saw that match. We saw the whole tournament when we cover NWA Power, because that's right. That's what Robrick does. We cover every single thing of wrestling. So we covered that, and we said that he was really good, right, Jean Paul?
Yeah, exactly. But in the end, Crossroads and done. That doesn't take anything away from Starks. And could I see him signing with AEW? Maybe. I don't know. Like I said, I wasn't following NWA Power like that closely, so I don't know if maybe he's done with them legit, or if they told him, "Hey, you want to wrestle on AEW? Go ahead, like wrestle now. Get the spotlight." But they know he's coming back.
Oh yeah, no. He's actually signing with AEW.
With AEW.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I hope the best for him, but I feel like he's just going to get lost in the shuffle. I feel like NWA Power was probably the better option, But
unfortunately, like you said, Mr. Egg, like they have a lot of talent, so it's really difficult to keep, promoting everybody when you only have one show of 2 hours.
Exactly.
Like we said this before. Like they should do what they should do really good is actually like either incorporate dark into like TV or like do something that is more continuation. That way we're not have to watch 2 shows at 2 different time slots. They just use it like all one day of AEW. But say, Jean Paul, that's that match. Now we're gonna go with Super Bats. We're gonna go with like Keep Sabian, Penelope Ford. It was announced that like she's gonna be challenging for the Women's Championship to Hikaru Shida, and of course Havoc going against the Young Bucks. And this is when Jean Paul loses it, and rightfully so, because this match was pretty good. Of course, the Young Bucks. Hey, and Keep Sabian is pretty good. Havoc, at least in a tag team fashion, he can call.
Yeah, his style, to me, it blends well with Sabian because Sabian's like a legit worker. He's got the fluid, smooth moves, and then Havoc just kind of goes in there. He's the hardcore guy, the brawler. It's like the opposites attract.
Yes.
And then they kind of have the female with them, so it's like, oh, they got all the bases covered, you could say.
Yes.
But with all that being said, it's like, are the Young Bucks going to lose? No. They try to say, oh, the Young Bucks, they're the 5th ranked tag team. I don't understand how there's 4 tag teams ranked ahead of them. Not trying to be a Young Bucks mark, because clearly I'm not, but I don't know like what story they're trying to tell here with the Young Bucks. But to me, the story is just lost. But if this would have just been a match between these two teams, Young Bucks win, I'd be like, okay, whatever. I don't have as much, complaints with it. But it's every week we see the Butcher and the Blade. They always, how many times are you going to interfere in a Young Bucks match, get your ass kicked, and then want to do it again next week?
Yeah.
It's like, learn your lesson. And then FTR, who's out here on YouTube shooting on the Young Bucks, saying, oh, we hate them, we're going to kick their ass. They defend them every week. Now, which one is it?
Yeah.
If you would have kicked their ass, you're going to jump them with the Butcher and the Blade. Like, if they would have kicked the Butcher and the Blade's ass and then kicked the Young Bucks' ass, I'd be like, okay, they're here to kick everyone's ass.
Yeah.
But they're making it that they're clear baby faces with the Young Bucks, and it's like, okay.
That is something that, again, like for me at least, like they're putting too many storylines into one.
Yep.
And it's like we don't know the real path of everybody, so that's kind of is making it confusing. Like you said, the Butcher and the Blade, they were there first. They never really been pushed. They have maybe one or 2 weeks that like they were trying to be somewhat of a legit tag team. Nothing. Mm-hmm. And now like if the Revival or FTR are there, okay. Then even more with like the Young Bucks, and then of course like even Sabin and Havoc, and they did their finisher like the pile driver. Both of them did the same thing. Yeah. They did like, what is it called now? What do they call the shatter? The shatter.
Oh yeah, I don't. What is this shatter machine? I don't remember what they call it. Yeah.
The Goodbye Express. The Goodbye Express. There you go. See, like why they have to change? I just hate that. I just hate that. Like one.
Unless WWE, I don't think WWE copyrights the names of those moves, so I think they do it to create their own identity.
Okay. Just call it like how the hell it is. Call the code breaker, call everything. But like you said, Jean Paul, this situation is kind of like lost in the shuffle, so hopefully they're able to say, hey, these two against these two, that's the feud. Instead of like all 4 of these tag teams all like merge into something that doesn't really make sense. So that's the one thing we have on that. Also, we saw, going back a little bit with Anna Jay, the Dark Order showed up. So like they help her out to go back to the gorilla position, or they carry her out to the back, and also they hand out like Colt Cabana a contract. They said, hey, join the Dark Order. Let's see what happens. So, like you said, if they would have done this before the match with Jon Moxley, I would have been fine.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, you gotta build him up. They kind of built him up a little bit. And then Moxley, not that he buried him, but, like, once you're beat like that, nobody's going to really take you seriously for a while. So that you should have had him recruit this army, and he could have had all these guys, and Moxley could have barely lost, and it would have been, if Brody Lee didn't have this army of guys with him, Moxley would have beat him. And people could have used that excuse, okay, Moxley's still legit, but Brody Lee's the champ, and it would have been a better story. Instead of, Brody Lee loses, he's a loser, okay. Yeah,
so like that's what happened. So for now, to me, the Dark Order is a little lost. I don't really care for the Dark Order at all. So, and if you ask me for my 2 cents, there's my 2 cents on that. So now talking about Jon Moxley, there was a promo from Taz and Brian Cage. So they were talking about, like, Taz called him Jon Moxley a son of a bitch like 9 times during those 2 minutes of promo. And that was pretty cool because he said on Fyre Fest, you are going to see the new AEW monster and you're going to like lose that belt. And I can assure you that you're going to walk out as the former AEW champion.
I hope Taz is I love Taz as a promo. Some promos he knocks it out of the park. Some promos he kind of gets a little like stumbles just like me. So hey, who knows? But I love his heel work way better than his face work. Him with Brian Cage is legit stuff. Brian Cage isn't a bad talker either. So I'm excited for this match, actually. I hope Brian Cage wins it, but I actually like this promo.
Oh, yeah. And also, like, say, Jon Moxley counterattacked that promo saying, like, hey, I have problems. I have demons. I have issues that I have to deal with. And my way of coping with the situation is actually fighting people in the ring and making them pay, making them feel pain.
And walking to the ring from my house.
And and like actually taking a big walk from my house. I got to say bye to Renee. That's the interest. Bye, honey. and then you just go.
And then like Justin Roberts, it takes Moxley approximately 17 minutes to get here. So you have to go, yeah, for 17 minutes
Actually,
until he
there's a
gets
video,
there.
Jean-Paul, in YouTube for the guys that don't actually believe it. There's like 26 minutes of like, because there's a dude that actually made just that thing carry on. So like 26 minutes of so I'm not the only one who just loves it. So Jean-Paul, main event time. Les Sex Gods going against the Best Friends. I love the music, you know. The Best Friends are cool. So like the match itself, well, we had Matt Hardy coming out, and of course, like Jean-Paul says, what version of Matt Hardy are we gonna get? And the worst line that Matt Hardy could have said is like, he can choose the version that he wants. Okay, so
yep. So yeah, him and Sammy are having a match next week because I actually like the storyline. I will say where it's like because I said Sammy needs to be face. Matt Hardy's trying to make him face, and it's like, okay, you know, that's cool. But then the whole Matt Hardy gimmicks is so stupid. It should be things that trigger him. It should be like, oh, he gets dropped on his head, and then his eyes are closed, and then he opens them, and he's like, huh. It should be like when he gets hit on the head, it like changes him. It shouldn't be that he can just be like, hold on. Oh, now I'm this. Now I'm that. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so stupid.
Exactly.
And so like, he's like, oh, Sammy's going to choose which version of me. You know which version I want? I want the version back in WWE. Actually, no, I lie. In TNA when you were legit. Can I get that version?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the one thing that like is difficult to tell. And I see the fact that nobody even talks about Matt Hardy anymore. That tells you how dead the character is. You know, they had a big opportunity. They have a big chance to actually try to like recreate what they had on TNA. Unfortunately, that didn't happen because they killed it within the third week. And you know now he's absolutely. He went from being like could have been like the most legit thing of AEW. Now he's just like pretty much like a mid-card guy.
Yeah, him and Jericho should have had a singles feud that should have lasted for a couple months.
Yes. Yeah.
That should have been the feud.
And well, you know, like we're not too critical about it because Corona started like taking place, so we don't know if this situation is a result of that. So we're not gonna be as critical. But see, this match, like with the Best Friends and Les Sex Gods, was pretty decent. Of course, like, you know, 4 guys really good. Sammy Guevara is a great wrestler. Le Champion, he still can go. Of course, you know, like he misses like the Lion's Soul like every single show. I've been seeing him miss that freaking move for the last 10 years. I don't know why he keeps doing it if nobody's going to be home. But in the end, of course, like the Best Friends retained or won the match. So that's really cool because at least we have the confirmation
and
that
this was one of the matches
Omega and Page.
Yeah, exactly. And I like this match actually, and I want to know how you feel that I actually thought that either team could have won this thing because they said, oh, you know, Jericho and Guevara actually have a win over Omega and Page. They're the only team to do it. And it's like, oh, maybe that's the storyline they're playing because maybe they don't want to put 2 babyface teams against each other at the pay-per-view, this and that. So I actually was thinking maybe they pull the trigger and do the switch. And if they do, I mean, it would make the Best Friends look like idiots for putting up their #1 contendership. But they didn't do that, and I mean, I'm fine with that. The Best Friends deserve the opportunity. I almost hope they win it, but like I say to you, the problem is there's no investment in that match. Best Friends versus Omega and Page, does anybody care? There's no storyline. There's no investment.
No, what they need to do is they need to start building right now.
They need but I almost feel like it's too little too late. The storyline in the heat is with, you know, Les Sex Gods and the Best Friends. It's not with Omega and Page. There's no heat.
Yeah, it is true. And then, of course, at the end of the show, Orange Cassidy came out.
Yeah, because I think Guevara hit the ropes, and then he got tripped up, and I thought it was a botch. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, that was pretty bad. It was right at the end, and then he hit that, like, almost like what Hangman used to hit, the dead eye.
Yeah.
Trent hit on...
Pretty much
on Guevara, and then you're like, what the hell is this? And then it's like, okay, but then the cameraman was actually, like you said, Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, cameraman is Orange Cassidy, so he took the thing, and then he started beating up Jericho.
It was me, Austin.
You know, he gets the upper hand, so that's really cool. We're really happy about that, and like I said, this pretty much sums it up for Dynamite.
Yeah, and they also they did announce, which I like, that match for Fyter Fest.
Yes, yeah, like I said, they announced pretty much, and even Jim Ross said every single championship is going to be defended. So we have a tag team match.
Yeah, I mean the Jericho and Orange Cassidy are announced for Fyter Fest.
See, that's the confirmation also. So we have so it seems it's going to be a good pay-per-view or like a good show as it is, but like you said, like a few matches that don't have the build that they should have had. for example, putting like your contendership or your opportunity on the line.
Yeah, and maybe that's because it's a free pay-per-view. They're like, like it'll be good, but the storyline isn't there. Which I'm not defending them. I think you should always have storyline, whether it's free or paid for. You should, give your fans what they deserve. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's their thinking. Not defending it, not saying that's what it is. It's just, that's my thinking on it.
Yes, that's true. So, family, thank you so very much for watching. I think that the show was pretty decent for what it is. Tomorrow is NXT time. We'll see, a lot of good stuff on NXT. Also, 2 championship matches. We're going to see what happens with Sasha Banks and Bayley.
It's a tag team Wednesday.
Tag Team Wednesday, and we'll see what happens. There's a lot of things. We're not going to spoil any single one of them because you got to watch the NXT review. So, Jean-Paul, where they can find us on the social media world?
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube and the Original Rope Break, and you can find us on Twitter at the OG Rope Break. And if for some reason you wouldn't want to stare at our beautiful faces and, the pictures from the show, you can find us on Podbean at the Original Rope Break.
That's right. If you just love our voices and you think, oh my God, these two are pretty much creatures of the night, then hey.
If you think we're the brothers of Abadon, then you can just listen to us on Podbean.
If you think we're related to Abadon, then just check us on just the audio. I think that the voices in your head are not going to bother you. So, family, thank you so very much once again. Tomorrow is NXT time. So, Jean-Paul, you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and it is.